Hey everyone and welcome. Today we are diving deep into the art of nose contouring. And look, if you've ever felt like you just can't get that perfectly snatched, sculpted look, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to take you from beginner to total pro in just a few minutes.
So, let's just get real for a second. Have you ever followed a tutorial to a T? You've drawn all the lines, you've blended till your arm feels like it's going to fall off, only to step back and your nose looks, well, kind of the same? Or maybe even a little whiter? Trust me, it's one of the most common frustrations out there.
Well, you are not alone. And the good news is, you're probably just making one single super common mistake. And it's so easy to fix. We're going to solve that for you right now.
First things first, the blueprint. Before we even think about touching a brush to our face, we have to get the foundation right. And that is the simple, magical play of shadow and light.
You know, at its core, contouring is really just an optical illusion. It's that simple. Dark shades push things back, make them seem smaller or farther away. And light shades bring things forward, make them pop. That's it. With this one rule, we basically become architects of our own faces.
And this, right here, this is the golden rule. This is the #1 mistake people make. The final width of your nose has nothing to do with where you put the lines themselves, it's all about the empty space between them. So the closer you draw those two dark lines to each other, the slimmer your nose is going to look. Honestly, that's the biggest secret of all.
All right, so we've got our blueprint. Our foundation is set. Now it's time to actually build this thing. So let's walk through the 5 key steps to sculpting the perfect nose.
So here's our game plan. We're going to draw the lines, shape the nostrils, define the tip, blend it all inward, and then finish by sculpting with concealer. Let's break down every single one.
Okay, step 1, draw the lines. Now, here's the big mindset shift. Forget about drawing lines down the actual sides of your nose. No, instead, you're going to draw them exactly where you want the new, slimmer bridge of your nose to be. This is that golden rule in action.
Now we get into the details. If you're concerned about your nostrils looking a bit wide, just draw a tiny little C shape around the outer edge. This will visually make them recede. Then, right at the very tip of your nose, draw a little V. This simple shape is literally what creates that super cute, lifted button nose look.
And you can totally customize this part. If you already have a naturally pointed nose, a softer round U shape can just enhance what you've got. It's beautiful. But if you're trying to create the illusion of a point from scratch, that sharp V shape is going to be your best friend.
And now for the step that can make or break everything, blending. The goal here is to soften the harshness of the lines without spreading them apart and ruining our slim shape. You want to use a small brush and just gently diffuse the color right where you put it, until, as the quote says, it looks like it's there and also gone. It's a delicate balance.
Okay, this is the step that makes the whole look come alive. You're going to take a concealer that's a shade or two lighter than your skin and draw a super thin line right down the center, in that space you created between the dark lines. This is the light part of our illusion, and it just cleans up all the edges and makes the nose look incredibly sharp and sculpted.
The structure is officially built. Now it's time for the finishing touches. Let's lock it all in place and add that final bit of dimension with baking and highlighting.
Oh, baking is a game changer, for real, especially if you have oily skin. You just press a good amount of loose setting powder right over that light concealer and you just let it sit for a few minutes. The heat from your face sets the makeup, sucks up any oil, and makes that bright center line even more intense.
And for that final, beautiful touch, highlighter. But listen up, this is so important. You can undo all of your hard work with one wide swipe of highlighter. You have to use a tiny pencil-thin brush and apply it only down that very thin center line we made with the concealer. That pinpoint of light is what gives you the ultimate slimming effect.
All right, feeling confident? Feeling like you've got this down? Let's level up. We're going to move on to a pro-level technique for maximum impact: reverse contouring.
So who is this for? Well, if you feel like traditional contouring just isn't giving you enough drama, or maybe if you're starting with a wider nose and you want even more control over the final shape, then this technique is for you. It is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of drawing shadows onto your nose, you create a canvas of shadow first by putting the dark color all over. Then, you take your light concealer and you literally carve out the new, slim bridge. It's like you're a sculptor chipping away stone to reveal the masterpiece underneath. It gives you so much control.
Of course, one size does not fit all. Noses are unique. So let's quickly go over a few little adjustments you can make for your specific nose shape. This is so useful. For example, if your bridge is already pretty thin, you can start your contour lines a little lower, just below the brow bone, so it doesn't look too pinched. If you have a little bump you want to minimize, you put the dark shadow directly on the bump to make it recede. And if you're worried about wide nostrils, really perfecting that C shape is your most powerful tool.
So if you remember nothing else from today, I want it to be these 4 contouring commandments. Number 1, the closer the lines, the slimmer the nose, period. 2, use those little C and V shapes to really sculpt the nostrils and the tip. 3, always blend inward toward the center to keep those lines tight. And 4, use a pencil-thin line of highlighter and nothing more.
At the end of the day, contouring isn't about hiding who you are. It's about creating. It's an art form. You now have the blueprint, you've got the tools, so the only real question left is, now that you're the architect, what are you going to build? So go practice, play around with it, and make this technique completely your own.